Hey guys, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking about Ezekiel, and it's actually found in chapter 22. What are we going to be talking about in Ezekiel?
Ezekiel 22, and I think it's verses 23 through 31. But we're going to be talking about this. Can one person's prayer actually make a difference? Like if you go to a different environment, or maybe it's your work or anywhere like that, can your prayer actually make a difference?
Yeah, and what we want to believe and say is from the Word of God is that your prayer can make a difference. But I'm going to just give you a little backdrop what's going on in Ezekiel chapter 22, okay? So the town is just in an upheaval. There's a lot of sin. And it's so funny because as I was reading, I think it was in verse 6 through 11, it talks about things that were going on, such as murder, rape, incest. People were disregarding God's ways and just things of God. People were saying, you know, we don't need God anymore. We don't want him here. And so that's just the little background of the town or the city that Ezekiel was talking about, that God was looking for that one person to pray.
And have you guys ever heard that phrase, like stand in the gap, that Christian phrase, like, hey, I'm going to stand in the gap for that person and I'm going to pray? Well, actually, it kind of comes from the book of Ezekiel and some of the other books in the Old Testament, but standing in the gap and praying is actually standing in a spot where there's a breach in the wall, a gap that needs to be filled. And God is saying that he's looking for just one person to stand in the gap. He just needs one person that will pray. But he could not find one person. And when you look at it from that aspect, or from that point of view, you know, you start to think and wonder, well, man, if God's just looking for one person, then man, I could probably be that one person, no matter where it is. It could be on your job, man. What if you're that one person that God's looking for to actually get in the game and actually engage God and pray for whatever it is that's going on? You know, what if you're that one person? You know, because we're going to be in different places. We're going to be, you know, in different arenas. And, you know, we might be the only one that's actually there that God can depend on to pray.
Yeah, he came out of his shell. This is the real Ty, people. Okay, so I'm going to give you a real life example of standing in the gap. It was about 7 years ago when I read this book. I believe it was called Sold, okay? And it's about these children in the country of Nepal that are sex trafficked into India. And I really felt, I was just so disturbed over the book, and I really felt like the Lord wanted me to pray for those children. And I was like, God, I'm all the way over here. How is that prayer literally gonna make a difference? Okay, so I began praying. And then for some reason I stopped. Either I got lazy or I just stopped. Well, I think a few years later I heard on the news that one of the biggest sex trafficking rings in Nepal was infiltrated. It was stopped at the border. There was this person with this van full of children, and they were bringing them in, I believe, to the red light district in India where they would sell the children. And for some reason, I believe it was the prayers, that person was caught and hundreds of children were saved. Now, I don't know if that was my prayer. I'm sure a lot of people were praying, but the Lord brought that to my memory when we were really studying Ezekiel, and I thought, wow, what if that was part of my prayers being answered all the way across the country? You don't know what one person praying can do.
All right, you guys, so don't fall in the trap.
Not that trap.
Okay, don't fall in the trap and start thinking that your prayers aren't effective or you don't carry weight with God when you pray, because actually you do. He's looking for one person to partner with him wherever that might be. Like, you can be the changing agent that God is looking for to partner with him and what he's needing done in a certain arena, a certain environment. It could be anywhere, but God's looking for that one person to partner with him.
And you know what, just as a little side note, and I might have already said this, but you know, don't think, well, the world is just so horrible today. What can my prayer literally do? Well, if you look back in Ezekiel chapter 22, the same stuff that's going on today was happening then, okay? So we can pray, we can make a difference.
We can, and the difference starts with us, and the difference starts with you.